There you are.
I'm here.
You chump.
We're going to be on holiday this time in the month, right?
Really?
Is it? I forgot the dates.
I think it's the 12th.
Oh,
The
Wait.
intro is done.
Which holiday's that?
we're going to Portugal.
Okay, cool. Not the Switzerland. All right. Confusing. Thank you, Natalie. Right. Welcome back to another endless session of Cold Mountain. We had some pretty spicy interactions last week. We lost a player character. There was some excellent RP, some arguments, some morals being stuck to, some practicalities being stuck to on the other side, I suppose. You dealt with the dragon in the traditional adventuring way. Killed it good. Grace tried to keep it alive, but Bungo finished it off, using a burst of Lyra's light to destroy it, before Sandral set in to make sure it was definitely dead by taking it apart piece by piece.
Turn it into a tent.
Turning it into a tent, you slept the night inside a dragon. Something not many alive people can claim. Before the next morning, kind of shrugging your shoulders at each other and heading further up the stairs. However, through fortune or misfortune, you noticed during your journey, as you were sort of halfway through your morning, closing in on midday, you noticed a number of Clan Archelon guards coming down the Platinum Stairs towards you.
Oh yeah.
Yes. You decided not to hide. Sandral whipped on the robes taken from the dead people that you figured out before, the strange folk that are accompanying you between Luskan and Mirabar. I believe the only other real preparations you've done is for Grey to heavily nudge and Varda, who has gladly stepped to the front of the queue and seems prepared to talk to the guards as they've approached. So without further ado, let's see what happens. As a little weather recap, it's a little bit windy, but otherwise the skies are somewhat clear. And you are unmolested. And you just did something questionable with crisps. Right, so the guards come down in front of you. As I described to you before, stiff backs, square shoulders, wrapped up tight in armor, and tabards proudly displaying the symbol of Clan Archelon, the white mountain on the crimson background. A number of symbols of Bahamut across different parts of their armor as well. Varda has stood at the front of the line, and one of the guards stepped forward, raising the front of their plate mail helmet, and addresses the lot of you. What business do you have on the mountain? Declare yourselves immediately. Varda looks back round to Grey with his eyebrows up, sort of saying, "You happy?"
Yeah, Grey kind of gives him a subtle nod.
Yep. With the nod, Varda turns back round, clears his throat, straightens himself up to his full height, which isn't very much, and says to the guard, "My name is Varda Sunderston, first son of the Sunderston clan of Mirabar. I have rights on the Platinum Stair to travel up to Rheinbreth Monastery, as granted by your clan itself in accordance with our laws in Mirabar and allegiance with the clan Sunderston. You'll see my paperwork is completely in order." And he flashes a scroll forward, allowing it to unroll ceremoniously in front of him. The guard, who seems to have quite a skeptical bearing, looking down at Varda, begins to trace its eyes across the scroll. Varda... In fact, who's got... Yeah. Probably all of you, to be honest. You would all notice from behind Varda that whilst he's putting on a very brave show, his hand, which is his right hand, which is sort of crooked behind his back, helping to give him this officious presence, is twitching nervously. The guard continues to read, and Varda says, well, you can see it's all in order, and quickly scrolls, turns the scroll back up to bring it back together. The guard snorts, I wasn't done. You need to make sure that I have read all of it. Varda again looks at you, Grey, this time a little nervously. I don't think there's any need for that. You can see I am Varda Sunderston. These, and he gestures to everyone, are my assigned guards for my journey. And we'll be making our way now. And he begins to try and step forward up the stairs. Takes a single step.
That whilst the guard's still reading the bit of paper.
He has scrolled, whilst the guard was reading, he looked nervous, and he quickly, scrunched it back up and shoved it back in his little scroll case.
Gotcha.
The guard didn't look happy, and Varda's kind of blustering at this point, and he goes to try and walk past. The guard captain slams the base of his spear down in front of Varda. You will not be passing up the stairs any further until documentation is officially reviewed. Varda you hear a slight whimper as he shuffles back. Goes to slowly pull out the scroll, kind of making very wide eyes and a nervous look at you, Grey.
Well, it worked the first time. I assume they would have read it as well, right? Surely.
Yeah. You saw it being before, when it was held out to the and down at base camp.
Yeah, Grey's got full confidence, but if there's anything fishy going on, he hasn't got a clue.
Okay. As Varda's pulling it out, he sort of maintains eye contact with you and says, as you'll see, there's rite of passage for everybody here on the scroll.
Oh, light bulb.
To pull it out. And the guard captain is impatiently waiting. Hurry up!
Well, I mean, as Grey steps forward, I think I'd have some of us in, but we actually moved into Mr. Varda here not too long ago, and he recruited us for our services, because it's been pretty dangerous up until now, so he figured you could do with more help. So me and my crew may not necessarily be included in these documents.
The guard captain turns his gaze on you, steely blue eyes, trying to burrow into your head. When was this further arrangement made?
I don't think when it was actually made. Yeah, the day before. Yeah, because we stayed the night, didn't we? Yeah. Just yesterday.
So you were already on the mountain?
Yes, we had a guide, but
Well,
they...
some of her party got wounded and they had to turn back.
Yes, but we had full faith in Vardis here to continue the journey without her.
Who was this guide?
What was her full name? Grace of the Gods.
There's like a little bit of recognition there. I see. And your passage up the mountain was approved through Grace?
Please, sir.
We've made it this far.
I have no wish to deceive you, and Bungo's gonna pull out the missive that Kadra sent them.
Okay. The guard captain beckons you forward. What's this?
We are, the reason we travel to Rhinebreath Monastery is we have been summoned by Archelon Kadra. We are friends of, close friends of her brother Jorek.
Close friends of her brother.
Yes.
And what is your relationship to her?
Well, she has summoned us. Jorek has... If you read the missive, Jorek has gone missing.
Was there any kind of reaction at the mention of Jorek's name?
You can roll an insight check.
Yes, please.
These people are very stoic in their demeanor. But that's
Ooh.
a very good roll. Yes. And in fact, with that roll, you'd have noticed two separate instances. When Kadra was mentioned, you noticed that the nostrils flared, the eyes kind of dilated. It was almost like
Okay. Uh-oh.
someone getting knocked off their rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
There seemed to be...
Something of shock, I guess.
Yeah. But when Jorek was mentioned, you would have noticed that the eyes kind of narrowed again, and there was, beneath the stony demeanor, kind of a flicker, a moment of concern, as Jorek was mentioned. But the captain starts reading the missive. I see. This is from the desk of Archelon Kadra concerning Jorek. Kind of passes an eye over the lot of you again. Who are you to him? You said friends. How did you meet?
We thought...
Well,
Sorry, go on, Grey.
I say we're practically blood brothers with him. We've been through all sorts of hell many years ago, and we're going through hell again now to try and find him.
Not that this place is hell.
The guard captain gives you a quick, wicked smile as you say that. Can be hell to outsiders.
It hasn't been too bad. There's a wry smile.
Tell me something only Jorek would know.
Ooh. Shit, guys, rack your brains.
There is that time he got really, really drunk and
Exactly what I was thinking of.
then Kadra came in.
But I was going to say, this has to be something he would know as well. So it's going to need to be something...
How would you know if only Jorek knows?
I'm asking the questions here.
No, but still, doesn't make sense.
You got you good.
You aren't the only friends of Archelon Jorek.
God, I'm gonna
Well,
have
I've
to
never
think.
actually met him, so...
I'm gonna have to think for a moment. It's so long ago.
Yeah?
Did you ever
Rack your
mention
brains.
Cheese Ahoy?
Does Grace say that?
No, no.
Okay.
Why would he ever mention Cheese Ahoy? Good God.
Everyone's heard of Cheese Ahoy.
Hey guys, I wear that t-shirt everywhere.
Yeah. I suppose. Did he ever tell you about the Tears of Talona?
What was Jorek's biggest fear when we sat around the ghost stories? What was the ghost story he told? Was it of cause?
God.
I feel like it was of course.
No, can't remember at all.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'd probably mention the Tears of Talona. That's all I've got.
The guard captain would look at you as you're saying it, and then say, "This is a story known across the Sword Coast. That will not do." Whilst you're like racking your brains, Varda pipes up and he's like, "So, are me and my men good to go? You were on your way down the mountain, right?" The guard captain just stares him down. Just if you were already on your way down, perhaps my men and I could accompany you, and we'll be out of your hair. You won't have to worry about us anymore. The guard captain doesn't respond.
Fuck, I was really struggling.
There must be something.
Oh, tell them about the body they hid.
Hey, no one knows about that. Oh,
If you truly are, as you say, blood brothers to Archelon Jorek, you must have something that isn't in the public domain.
Can Sandra would like offer the sending stone? No, wait, that doesn't even make sense.
we haven't seen this guy for 5 years, damn it. It feels like 5 years. Trying to remember back. Jesus.
Does Jorek have any like distinguishable marks on him or anything? Wouldn't be told in the story, you know.
Why not do the drunk story
Really
where he
good
got
question.
chastised? I'm sure he didn't tell that to many people. It's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Some interesting options.
Can I roll the history to see if he remembers? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
If I could find my old notebook, I'll tell you shit news.
Roll that history.
Yeah? Oh, okay,
Yes.
cool. Come on, Gray. I don't remember, but you would. Ah, clearly not.
Racking your brains.
Yeah.
That was something
Something
about saying,
only he would know.
something about saying blood brothers. Kind of
Yeah.
twig something in your head. Battle scars. Things that have happened.
I'm even trying to remember when we did the PJ thing. If anything came out from that, I don't think so.
Did he ever go down to anything? Maybe he got a scar from that, you know?
That's what I'm trying to remember. I feel like he did. More than once.
Did he not go down to that demon thing or whatever was in the basement? Or was that someone else?
No, he was a badass then. He
Yeah.
turned it with the holy symbol.
Sandra would say more quietly. He told me about it one time where he said he didn't go into fight and Elodius felt really bad and that he like saved you all from a bunch of spiders.
Yeah.
She's saying that quietly, right? Not to the
Yeah.
captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, man.
Did he wear under his armor? Nobody else knows that. EJ's.
Commando.
Oh, does he have the Sandra would ask what sort of reliquary he wears and if they know where it's from.
Asking the captain or asking...
I know, I've got it.
She would be doing a rhetorical question to a captain.
I have my knowledge of Archelon Jurek. So far, you've only provided me with the same story told in inns up and down the Sword Coast.
She's like, well, I haven't met him, but these guys are taking awfully long, so kind of on your side.
I wasn't there personally, but I remember being told of Jorex and my friend's attack on the Deephold, the manor of the Deepwell family, and, well, if Jorek, to truly know Jorek is to know that he was not a man who was simply just filled with pride, but with humility. And to truly know Jorek is to truly know that whilst his friends and fought some of the strongest enemies they've ever fought, Jorek unfortunately was chasing a guard round the outside, and it took quite a long time to dispatch him.
I remember that.
The stoic face of the guard creases with a small smile. He was always very ashamed of that.
Thank you, Deephold session notes from
Yeah. That's literally gonna be it. There's nothing else.
It's literally, I just found them on my computer.
Jesus.
Love it. The guard's demeanor doesn't soften so much. You are on thin ice.
Zoe?
That is.
It's pretty big.
That is something. Evidence that you are who you claim to be. We are heading further down the mountain, as is our duty. That's right, Verge.
If you need more, the name of his steed was K-Rallion.
Yeah. Ah.
I'm finding all the names.
Bungo just spouting random stuff.
He made that cart really goddamn stinky.
He had a deep battle wound brought back from the brink of death. Early on in his adventurings with his blood brothers,
I remember
surely
it
they would be
clearly.
able to tell me where it was, or what manner of creature dealt it to him.
It was an orc.
The guard nods.
And
Do you remember where?
the outpost of the Axebite clan. And
Alright.
it was my friend here that brought him back, and he looks to blame.
It was. Alright. I'm satisfied. You are still in violation of how we do things here, but your time with Jurek buys you some leniency, at least with me. They may not be quite so forgiving if you reach the monastery itself. Do you know where you're going next?
We do not know. Any direction or guide would be most appreciated.
He nods and gestures to one of the other guards. Bring the map. One of the guards steps up, opens a scroll case, hands it over. He turns it round so it's facing you all, and you see like a not very pretty but pragmatically drawn map. Looks like charcoal on parchment. You can see this is roughly where you are now. You're not far from Stonewing Overhang, a resting place used by most who travel the stairs. I'd recommend resting there before you set out for a new day.
How big is this map? Tyler's going to get a book out and try to draw it really quickly.
He flinches slightly as Atala begins to do so, but then he kind of softens.
Well, I was going to suggest if he's not handing it to us and he's just showing us,
He is only showing it, yeah.
then as you see Atala getting their things out, Gray would probably just grab that map out that you got from the what's his name, the mountaineer,
Oh, Bjarna Baghorn.
and sort of hand it to her to be like, fill in anything that might be missing.
Good plan. Save your time. Yep. And all the little notes down.
Yeah, well, what your hand at Atala is a filthy map. It's covered in scribblings and scrawlings, things that have been crossed out and rewritten, ink stains.
I'll do it in a different colour.
And so you see in amongst the harsh, almost runic style writing of old man Bjarna Baghorn, you see the much more delicate and composed, elegant writing of Atala Goodbarrel in a different colour.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, what you can fill in from the Clan Archelon's map is not hugely detailed, but it is practical. It shows you that once you've gotten to Stonewing Overhang, the stairs get a little bit less reliable after that. You essentially have kind of 2 more stages before you reach Rhinebreath Monastery. You have a choice to make, very clearly shown on the map, of whether you want to try and divert to see White Wing Bridge, which goes over to Eastfang, connects to Eastfang, on your way up, or if you want to just continue on the stairs.
Let's not go there. It is a silly place.
Excuse me. After that, you see the next resting place is a place called Turchak's Folly. Looks to be an old outpost that's in ruin now, but provides enough shelter for resting.
Let's not go to Eastfang. It's a silly place.
I'd rather go to Eastfang at the moment. With news getting back to the monastery of a dismembered dragon.
Don't know what you're talking about.
You would see Atala that from the Stonewing Overhang to Turchak's Folly, if you don't divert to the White Wing Bridge, it's actually not too bad. It's pretty much straight stairway to get you there. Though it does. Well, actually, this would be on Old Man Bjarna Baghorn's map rather than the Clan Archelon's map. But you're kind of combining your knowledge now. It would say that's a particularly steep and thin stretch. It's like you're walking up, at a very high angle, single file, and the stairs come out from the side of the mountain. So it's not treacherous in that you're having to scramble or what have you, but it's just exhausting, even more so physically and mentally, because you're having to focus on not falling off, and it's very steep. But it's
there's not a handrail. That's not the standard.
It's not a mountain for handrails. And then after Turchak's Folly, the next stage will take you to Rhinebreath Monastery, and here is where the Clan Archelon's map is most useful. It points out 3 different landmarks that will help guide you over a long stretch, a good few hours of travel, where you won't have the stairs anymore, and you'll just be walking through snow and peaks.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, you've quickly come to the conclusion that without those landmarks, you probably would have been just wandering around for a long time.
And where do we think Jorik is? I assume we don't want to go to Eastfang.
All you know is that he's missing, and the general sense of worry and dread that Bungo's gotten from trying to contact Jorik and Kadra.
Yeah, we need to get to Rhinebreath Monastery to see what Kadra knows.
Okay. Well, this will be tremendously helpful. She's like, puts the map away, or gives it back to Gray if he's like looking at it.
Yep. The guard captain nods looks to each of you, lingering eye contact for a second or so. There's like a pause. Looks to you, Grey, then Sandrell, Atala, everyone. And just kind of opens up his gaze across all of you and just says, "Find him, please.
We will do our utmost.
He is missed."
That he is.
Do you actually know where he went? It's
gonna say.
direction?
All I know is that he left the monastery. I'm sorry, I can't tell you more. I know that Archelon Kadra has been the one pursuing him actively.
What was he seen leaving, or?
Many saw him leaving the monastery itself, yes. But you must understand, leaving the monastery, there's only one entrance, so it doesn't tell us anything about where he could have got to.
Why was he leaving? Was he just taking a stroll, or?
The guard looks a little bit uncomfortable. Do a persuasion check.
Does she
Sandra.
see him hesitating?
Yeah.
She's going to also say, the sooner you tell us, the sooner we can find him.
Locks eyes with you. Yeah, do a persuasion check, but with advantage.
Shit.
He became unsettled. We have a way of doing things on the mountain. It has a pace, a rhythm to it, a daily routine. He became unsettled.
He wasn't exiled, was he?
No, he wasn't. He was, if anything, the speaker and the High Marshal were both keen to put his worries to rest, to settle him back into things. At first, many said it must have been the influence of, well, kind of looks over at all of you. Outsiders, time spent away from the mountain. There are some who still think that way.
Yeah, that's what Elodius thought. I mean, he said that Bungo and people were changing him for the worse.
We're changing for the better. Are you trying to say Jorik didn't quite fit in anymore?
The way you phrase it makes it sound as if he didn't fit in with his people. I do not believe that to be the case. He spoke with us and trained, prayed, spent time with us. Much the same as he did before he left. It was internal, I think. Something was off.
Has there been any trouble from the outside of your monastery that could have unsettled him? I mean, sort of gestures around. It's like, seems like you get the same troubles all the time around here.
You could say that. Things do vary. There are fluctuations, attacks from giant tribes, issues with the weather, rockfalls. Things have been a little more tense recently, but this was after Jurek disappeared.
Tense in what way?
There have been clashes. Infiltrators trying to get into the monastery.
We may have encountered such folk. There was Grace of the Gods had 2 masked figures who travelled with her until, well, excuse the pun, we unmasked them.
Hmm.
They were undead.
Sandra was like, yeah, they were wearing this, and she like swish her robe.
Did they bleed?
No, they did not.
Intriguing. I would consider it a service and might place you in good stead with the High Marshal or with the Speaker to mention that upon your arrival.
I will.
Tell them you bring information in aid of the clan. It is an old phrase used by those who would do business with us.
What was the phrase, Tom?
You bring information in aid of the clan.
Bungo will
Anyway.
also ask this Dragonborn's name.
Archelon Kyla.
Cool. He would. Bungo would also introduce himself back, obviously.
I think I've figured out each of you now. From the stories, if nothing else. You are, each of you very different. I don't know you. He points at you, Atala.
I'm new, I guess.
May I know your name?
Atala, good now. She like nudges up next to Bungo a bit more.
Yeah, the Dragonborn kind of bows his head slightly. Without much of a smile, but perhaps a ghost of it. She says, "Questions?"
Does a little curtsy.
Alright. Well, we shirk our duties standing here and gossiping. I wish you the best of luck, and may Bahamut's grace be with you. Guards, let's move. And they begin to head past you.
Sandra will just watch them go down. How many hours away are they from the site of the desecration?
About an hour and a half.
Sandra will be like, yeah, we better get moving. Come on, everyone. She like claps her hands and like starts going up the stairs.
Yeah, just follow her.
Wait, wrong campaign.
Varda watches the guards go with a longing look in his eyes. Big sigh.
Just keep muting myself.
So, what do you do?
Sandra's already started off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on,
Crack
yeah.
on.
Okay.
Still half speed for the barrels.
Well, no, you had your plan, right?
My plan? What was my plan?
With the disc.
Oh yeah.
We never got to check in with Blamathy because I think George was making tea or something.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe fell asleep, who knows?
Oh, mystery. The plan, I believe, is Atala is carried by Blam,
Yep.
summons the disc, and the disc goes along behind Blam, which Bungo will sit on.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a great plan.
Okay,
Hey.
there we go then. So not half speed, which will help. So, you know from the map and from discussion that you're really not far away now from Stonewing Overhang. Probably only about half an hour, actually.
Was that that was the next
The
long
next
rest day,
resting
wasn't
point,
it?
which
Yeah.
you look to be making at about midday.
What was the next? How far away is the next one?
From the map, the basic idea you get from it is that the next one is about 5 more hours
Oh.
travel, and that's taking the quickest way, which is not diverting to the bridge.
And how many hours can we go with walking again without taking a? Is it by con?
You could go. I think you've done after the dragon. You haven't done that much yet. You can probably do another 5. No, because of your half speed thing. Oh no, because you had the plan. Yeah, another 5 if you wanted to.
The 5. That's without like breaks and stuff.
Yes. So
How
it would be
far?
like 2 hours of travel time used into the next section.
And how many hours can we go without taking a break?
Only 1.
Just the one. Damn it.
I'll
No,
defer on
join
this
it.
stuff. Like all the survival stuff in D&D just goes so far over my head.
I like the thought that Bungo's like that as well. Though.
Yeah,
Bungo's
pretty
like, I
much.
just want to be at the top of the mountain. God damn it!
Sandra wants to go the quickest way to put distance between those people and us.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Yeah, I like the
probably not-
quickest way too.
Probably not looking at the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first step is simple to get to the next Stonewing overhang. So I assume half an hour.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you travel up half an hour. The wind blustering around you. As mentioned last time, the air is starting to get thinner. You get the feeling it's going to start affecting you a bit more, perhaps on the next couple of stages of your journey. But before long, and you actually spot this resting spot from a fair way away, probably only 15 minutes into your walk with 15 minutes to go. You see kind of down a valley between 2 split peaks. You see this formation, and it kind of, when each of you first see it, there's almost a primal shock in your system, especially with having battled with a dragon so recently. This rock formation looks distinctly like a raised dragon's wing. It's this kind of splayed burst of stone. It looks odd, like it doesn't make much sense in stone's normal erosion patterns and settling as it does. But there it is, and once the initial shock dissipates, you're left with kind of a curiosity and an interest as you head towards this sheltering wing-like shape. And as you draw in closer, as the half an hour fills out, who would be in the lead? I'm guessing Sandral.
Yes.
So Sandral, you notice because this wing sheltering
Wait,
wing is
would Grey let her after last time? I remember last time he was being all like, no.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say, if Sandra even tried, he would
Go
just...
ahead.
Well, then he would, like, keep up with her and make sure she doesn't get too far ahead
Okay.
on her own.
So they're basically next to each other.
I like it.
Goddamn babysitting duty.
So, as you get closer, the two of you out in front, this overhang isn't like a cave. It's almost like the rip curl of a wave. The stone hangs over, hence overhang, providing shelter from the elements, but it's not a closed thing. So you kind of get a look inside, and as you angle your approach, you can look through it. Like it's like a tube almost of stone. And the two of you spot something. You spot what looks to be a kind of a mess, a dark mess of clothes, perhaps, in the snow. Just a little ways into the overhang.
You said a mess of clothes.
Yeah, it's like a dark shape on the ground. It's difficult to make out at this distance. You can do a perception check if you like.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
going to say, I think I've got a spyglass, don't I?
Sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, I do. So how far away are we? I'm guessing quite far away.
Yeah, you're still a few hundred feet, maybe 400 feet.
Yeah, I'll whip my spyglass out and see if I can get anything better
Excellent.
view of it.
Perception check with advantage, I'd say. Sounds right.
What we got here?
25. Yeah, very nice. So, using your spyglass, kind of telescope it out and look down, narrow your vision in on the mouth of the overhang. With the spyglass, you can see this is definitely a figure. Looks to be quite a small figure, perhaps one of the smaller races. Raggedy clothes, kind of dark against the snow. Just seems to be lying in the snow. You don't even see a face.
No. Yeah, he'll just say, "There's a body down there. Don't know who or why. Be on the lookout."
Should we go and investigate it? Might be someone hurt.
Gonna say they may need help. So I wouldn't like sprint ahead, but definitely make my way towards them. Yeah, go on. I'd stealth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bungo
go ahead.
give guidance.
Roll a stealth check and add a d4.
I don't know if... I think Bungo would be the best one, so I don't know if I beckoned him, if he'd want to try and join me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but if you beckoned him, Bungo would definitely
Yeah,
come out.
but he'd tell everyone else to stay put.
I'll move. If Gray's moving up stealthily, I'll do it as well, but I'm not very good at
Yeah.
at
Oh
stealth
yeah, that's
compared.
fine. Worth a try.
Yeah.
Andrea following Gray. She wants to be up in front.
Yeah, I've got a 9 in stealth. I'm so fucking stealthy.
Excellent. So, yeah. Sandral expertly kind of gliding through the snow, knowing what to do to break your pace to not have that distinctive trudging, crunching movement in the snow. Gray's movement seems almost unnatural. It's like he glides across the ground, using the gradient of the hill sloping down towards the overhang to just smoothly move towards it. Bungo, on the other hand, a bit shorter in stature and
Yeah, he's
very, very
hopping.
tired from a difficult journey. Kind of just shuffles through. You're trying to be quiet, Bungo, but at the moment that kind of just means giving into your tiredness and going a bit slow.
Yeah.
But it's not too far away, and it takes mere moments for you to catch up with them. As you get closer, there isn't much detail to pick out. Amongst the clothes, you do definitely see this is a figure now. The face looks pressed down towards the ground. Dark browns, dark fabrics, a glimpse of a limb here and there. You don't see any blood, but you don't see any movement.
Is it a body though?
Yeah, it looks to be a body.
I did it! I did it, Tom!
What?
I prepared the right spell for once.
Ah!
I'm gonna cast Speak with Dead.
Oh my god. Well, don't we need to establish they are definitely dead?
Yeah, that's a
They could
good
be
point.
snoozing.
Yeah. Are they asleep?
Well, it could be anything. It could be unconscious, sleep. Who knows?
So
medicine
what are you
check,
doing to
please.
try and establish whether they're asleep or not?
Sandra would get out her flame tongue rapier.
Yeah.
She'd whisper the command word to it, and she'd just hold it over the guy and see if there's any response.
Yep. So as you hold the flaming rapier over the body, the light from it kind of plays out across the figure and casts little shadows onto the snow. There doesn't seem to be any response.
And hold it for a while to make sure that well, if it was dead, if it was alive, it'd get too hot after a while. Yeah.
So you're holding it quite close then.
Yes.
Okay. So Sandral stands there.
Still no reaction from the body.
Still no reaction.
I think Bungo's gonna
Yep.
assume the worst.
Well, it's probably going to be a trap or something. Let's turn it over. You said they were face down, didn't you?
Wait,
I did, yeah.
she's gonna get out her decanter of English water.
Okay, from fire to water.
No, wait, this is stupid if they're alive.
Yeah, it is.
It's free.
Yeah, it is. Like whoa, whoa, whoa.
I was gonna spray it
Yeah.
on his face.
Yeah, turn him over first. Let's. This might be.
Turn him over.
This might be a trap, but.
Who's turning
Yeah,
it over?
Yeah, wait, can I investigate or like encourage Gray to investigate? I'm shit at investigation. First,
Well, no, yeah, that makes sense.
this like try and see if he's actually like just got traps on him.
Okay. So, Gray, as you kneel down and start to carefully examine and look around the body, you move from limb to limb, kind of carefully checking, making sure to stay out of any potential traps in this scenario, keeping a slight distance but leaning in close to examine. The body seems still, but with a natural 20, you think of one of the tricks you remember from Neverwinter. You take out a dagger, wipe the surface, and place it in front of the body's mouth, and you do see slight breath frosting
Oh
across
shit!
Okay.
the surface itself.
Damn it! I didn't prepare the right spell. Can we kill
You haven't
whoever
got
this
Speak
is?
with alive.
Can we kill whoever this is so I can speak with him? I'll in that would Gray point that out to Bungo?
Aye, for sure, but like quietly, he'd just point it out, like literally point it out, but like, look, what's happening?
Can Bungo do a medicine check on this guy to see if he looks wounded or? Because
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Sandra
Yep.
will be like, he can't have been out here long. He would have frozen to death.
yeah, that's why I want to do the medicine check. Plus 26.
Yeah, so as Bungo, as you move in, now knowing that this is a living being, and your healing instincts kicking in, you begin to sort of feel for any potential bone breakages, looking for any dark stains of blood or anything like that, and
Oh, did I disconnect?
no, you're good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I thought he cut out.
So there's no signs of injury then.
No signs of injury as you sort of feel up through the body. Bones seem in the right place. You quickly determine this creature seems quite old, older in its years. From its stature, you can see that it is one of the short race dwarven.
Can you hear me now? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
And as you poke and prod, the figure begins to stir.
And he wouldn't stir. He
No?
would very slowly open his eyes and say, "Can I help you, young man?"
I think Bungo would fall back in a kind of like. "Ugh." Hello, good day, sir. Apologies to disturb your slumber.
He would jump to his very tiny feet in a surprisingly deft motion and get his hand axe out. "What do you want? Can I help you?"
Well, we saw a figure in the snow, and we assumed the worst. To be honest,
"I was asleep. How dare you?"
well, it's Are you not cold, sir?
"Not especially."
Well, it's an awfully strange place to be sleeping, I have to say. Are you native to the area?
"I live here, and I'm waiting for someone. Whatever business it is of yours."
Well, apologies, sir. We had no intention of disturbing you. If
You did.
well,
Who are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for a message from a friend.
from Mirabar?
Tom, you tell me.
You've forgotten already.
It's well, I'm not gonna tell you all about it.
You were waiting for a group of travelers who look surprising. These guys look surprisingly like the description given to you.
Yes, but how can I be sure that they're the people I'm waiting for?
You could ask their names. You could test them.
What's your name, boy?
Well, I am Bungo, and this is and he gestures to Grey.
Yeah, Gray's my name. Gray's like shaking his head, and he looks out for the rest of everyone else and just beckons them over, waves them over.
Yeah.
This-
Shuffling in.
The figure would probably slowly put away his hand axe and... Well, I think you might be the people I'm waiting for. I hear you have something for me.
Oh,
And who are you exactly?
yes, that's a good question. I probably should have thought of that myself.
Sorry, Tom's showing me a note, but I haven't got my glasses on.
This is so painful.
I love this. It's so much.
Sandra was just like exasperated.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm gonna cast Speak with Dead.
He's damn near it.
I'm not gonna lie, this sounds like it's the result of disorganization, but this is giving you a pretty good impression of this guy so far.
Yeah, describe what the group's seeing. Describe the
A
characteristics.
very unkempt and grumpy-faced old dwarf. Yes.
We have a token to see what he looks like.
Absolutely. Anya, if you want to drag out your token.
Oh, I have a token now?
Yeah.
I just want all of you, when you get to the recording where this character appears, that I did some very swift and quick editing to make Grace of the Gods disappear and make Anya's new character appear on the stream.
Oh, very nice.
Because I may have accidentally spotted it in the campaign, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I figured that might happen. I was expecting it to be Hannah, to be honest.
Oh, there it is.
You got it?
Yep.
Ah, look at him.
What a
Nice.
name!
Pretty dirty as well.
Looks like Ozdred's dad.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm waiting. I think I'm waiting to give you guys aid. Is that right?
I can't say I'm familiar, sir. Your name?
Ethelbert!
I assume Bungo's never heard of fucking Ethelbert.
No,
Yeah,
you've never
no.
heard of Ethelbert before.
I can't say I'm familiar, sir. Why? For what reason do you wait for us? Out in here of all places.
PJ sent me.
Ah, that makes more sense.
Well,
That's a surprise. How come?
he said you could help me. Or she, because I can't remember.
She.
It's hard to tell from notes and 2 initials. Sorry, he's gone a bit Irish.
No, lean into it more.
Yeah.
Well, for what reason did PJ send you? Was it... Oh, and Bungo looks at the note he wrote to him and kept on himself. That Natalie can't even fucking remember why I did
You
that.
wrote. So you wrote 2 notes.
Yes.
One that you left on the
For
body.
the
of
body, I remember
woman,
that. I
or-
can't remember the one I wrote for myself, though.
The one you wrote for yourself was asking desperately for diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
And with Bungo's passive perception being as ridiculously high as it is, you'd notice that some of the stalactites on the ceiling don't look like normal ice.
Oh, shit. Ah.
I've reincarnated your dwarf.
You've reincarnated?
The dwarf that PJ sent me.
What were you before you were a dwarf? If you don't mind me asking.
Miscommunication is amazing.
Yeah, I'm lost.
No, the fallen guard that was dead. I've reincarnated him.
Oh. Wait, you're the guard? I'm so confused.
With Bungo's perception as it is, and being told that, you would see there is a sleeping form further back in the
Oh,
overhang
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
obscured from
benefit.
view on the way in.
For Kieran's benefit, I was imagining him at the time doing what Pop does with the like slap on the face and like from League of
Yeah.
oh, is he alright?
Yes, he'll be fine. Just needs to sleep it off.
and he'd like kick him.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. That's very kind of you and, well, our mutual friend bringing said situation together. And I see, and he looks up at what Bungo assumes is diamonds in the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
and says, "I assume this is your doing as well."
No, that's the mountain's doing.
Well, I more meant us convening on this location.
Well, you're not having the diamonds.
No, well, well, I do not wish to take, which is not mine, but
Then don't.
we could most do with them, though, sir. Lyra's magic does not, unfortunately, come without a cost on occasion. And he looks back at the guards with Vandren and says, "It's Vandren, isn't it?"
Varda.
Varda, fuck's sake, sorry, I'm tired.
Andron's from Critical Role.
Yeah, Vandren is from Critical Role. And he looks back at the guards of Varda and says, "I would not have been able to bring these men back to life without said diamonds. So if you would allow me to take them, I would have."
It's not up to me.
Who is it up to then, sir?
The mountain.
Oh no, you're one of these people, the Iggy Pringle type.
Yeah.
No, Bungo doesn't know that.
What the hell
well,
is
that's
Iggy
not-
Pringle when it's...
No,
Stories?
Bungo didn't say that.
I think you did, boy.
Did we ever tell you what happened to Iggy Pringle and the law that Kieran came up with, Steph?
Think really?
Please enlighten him, Kieran. Unless Kieran's wandered... Oh, Kieran's wandered off at, like, the best time. God damn it.
Next time.
Kieran decided that Iggy Pringle literally turned into a mountain.
Yeah.
So good.
So
Fantastic.
funny. Sorry, Bungo wouldn't have said that because he doesn't know who Iggy Pringle is. God, this carrot just, like, broken my brain.
Yeah, I was expecting as much.
Oh, get ready for the fuckery. I'm gonna unleash with all my characters. Just wait till you meet Hunka Munka.
You would notice that the figure that was kicked and kind of stirred but didn't wake looks certainly very different to the dwarven guard that fell before that was killed.
Would Bungo know what the reincarnation spell does? Can I do some sort of
Yeah.
check?
No, I think Bungo would know. I'm happy for that to be the case.
What race is he?
You kind of glance over, and there's a jolt of familiarity. It's a halfling.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, not a bad race to come back as, hey friend? If he's awake.
Snoring away.
Oh. I'll let him sleep. So if you are able to ask the mountain if we may partake in these diamonds, then I would appreciate that.
He'd put his hand up to his ear like he was listening.
It says no.
Is there any way we can convince it?
No.
You'd both hear, both Bungo and Ethelbert, a little in the back of your mind, as a slightly miffed PJ wants Ethelbert to know that the diamonds are for Bungo.
Do you want dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Then I suggest you do what I say, boy.
No.
Fine. You can have 3 diamonds.
Well, I suppose that's reasonable.
I think it's more than reasonable.
Well, I don't mean to be rude, sir, but these diamonds could be, put to use in saving lives.
Then don't be rude.
I have no wish to be rude, sir.
Then don't be.
Okay, I won't be. I'm sorry.
For both of your benefits as well, the diamonds are like 25 feet up in the
Yeah, I
ceiling.
know. Yeah, I gathered they might
You're
be.
both gonna have to figure out how you're getting them if you're getting them.
I've got a pretty good idea how we can get them.
Nice.
Fly.
Yeah, put fly on Blam. I was hoping that Atala might have that available still.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's fucking get Blam flying. I suppose that's reasonable. I don't wish to offend you, sir. May I allow my companions to mine some of the diamonds away?
Fine, but I can't watch.
Tala smiles at the I can't watch. Blam, she whispers to Blam. Don't hesitate to get a little bit more than 3.
Thank you, Atala.
I heard that.
And she's gonna cast fly on Blam. How many more do I get? How many more people? So I can do it on 2 people. Who else wants to go get some diamonds?
Well, is it that they are encased in ice, or it just looks like ice and it's like a whole diamond?
It's like almost like a mimicry of stalactites, but much smaller. And when you first see them, it's just sparkling. You're like, oh, it's a stalactite, and then you kind of squint, and you're like, wait a minute, that's a fucking transparent, sparkly diamond.
It'd probably be quite easy if Sandrell went up with her flaming sword anyway to just melt away the ice and snow and just pick them out, right?
Potentially, yeah.
She looks up and she's like, didn't Ethelbert say they were his?
What did Ethelbert say was his?
The diamonds.
It could one day save your life if just get a few more.
I
Doesn't own
live on
them
this
anyway.
mountain. I'll die on this mountain.
Bongo, if you could take Ethelbert aside, maybe talk to him a bit.
Yeah.
Don't hurt her.
Sir, please show me how your magic worked on this on the gentleman over here. I'm quite curious. And Bungo's trying to like lead her away. Like, come on, Grandpa.
Don't touch it. Molesting my mountain with your dirty hands.
Blam, do you fly up?
Of course I do.
Yeah. Wrench the diamonds out.
Yeah.
Yeah, with your strength. As you fly up, you see there are 5 diamonds of differing sizes.
Nice.
I think he'd better do a strength check. Because Ethelbert's not going to let him do it without fight.
Is Ethelbert controlling the stone?
No. Well, actually, no. He might. But it's not technically stone, is it?
The diamonds look set in the stone beneath a layer of like ice. It's in the ceiling, so there isn't any snow on it. But it is like frozen. There's a layer of frost. So yeah, it's stone.
Then he would
Did he go outside with Bungo or not?
He did. But how far away would he be, Tom?
Well, Bunga doesn't move very fast, but is trying to sort of walk you away. Maybe
Yep.
30 feet. 40
Bungo is
feet.
leading him towards the guy who's sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
may I do a thing?
You can do what you want. It's your character.
He would cast Transmute Rock
Okay.
and will turn it into mud.
Oh no, not more mud gods.
Blam, as you fly up and start reaching out towards these beautiful diamonds, the rock above you and a sheet just seems to immediately turn into mud and just plop down on top of you, and you are drenched in thick, viscous, and quite cold mud, and the diamonds just fall down onto the floor.
Ugh.
I made it easier.
This looks familiar, Blam. Bungo shouts across the thing.
I think I get the rest.
Yeah, you do.
That was something you could have said to the guard.
Oh yeah, Pooh Barrel. That's still the
Yeah.
that's still the greatest D&D moment ever. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Blam, you
Tala
hold in your
let
hand.
the diamonds out.
Oh, Tala, you now hold in your hand two
If all
diamonds
of
that
them are,
look a
yeah.
little bit smaller, three that look a bit larger, but all of them in this really quite beautiful, almost like sculpted or cut stalactite structure. Although they're currently covered in thick mud.
Nice.
Nice.
Can I add them to my inventory?
Nice.
Certainly, yeah.
Gosh.
Three
What?
of them are worth
Yeah.
Oh, go on, sorry.
500, and two of them are worth 300.
Oh, damn. Thank you, PJ.
She's got the skills. Pay the bills.
I just with you know, don't worry actually.
To be honest, I feel like Ethelbert would be outside with Bungo being like,
Look what I can do.
and would like cast jump on himself so he could like jump up the stairs.
So he was says, "Look what I can do," and just like waves at himself with jazz hands, and then just starts like a flea pinging up the steps.
Is he some relation to? Oh god, what was his name in the first campaign? He was with
Bead.
Bead.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of bead, which is nice. Yeah, during this time, and now Ethelbert's just jumping up the stairs trying to show off to Bungo. Varda has also come into the overhang space and is kind of him and the guards have gathered round the sleeping form, the resurrected or reincarnated guard, with some very confused expressions on their face. They haven't woken him yet, but they're sort of discussing amongst themselves and pointing down at the guard.
So I'm a bit confused. So is this someone that was reincarnated into a guard, or they were a guard and they've been reincarnated as something else?
Gray might not know, but I think this information would be shared soon enough anyway. There is a resurrection style spell called Reincarnate where you don't come back as, or you might come back as your previous race, but there's a chance you come back as all different types of races. And this, it seems like the dwarf who was killed, the guard, one of Varda's guards, who was killed by the White Dragon, has been reincarnated and now is in the body of a male Lightfoot halfling.
Oh, the one we sent. Oh,
Yeah, the one that Bungo
him.
left the calling card with.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sandra kind of looks down at him. He's like, it would have been nice if they'd, put him in the bottom of the mountain where he could get off it.
She's saying that next to Varda and the guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Varda would scoff at that, and the other guards would chuckle. But he'd say, well, then he wouldn't be fulfilling his proper duty. Should be back on his feet soon and
Well, I'd
rejoining the
say
ranks.
he's probably already fulfilled it, seeing as he died for you.
Well, that wasn't in the contract. He didn't say, die for me and receive funds upon completion. He needs to safeguard my person until I return to Mirabar.
Did he sign the contract as a dwarf?
Well, yes, of course.
Does that release him from the contract now that he's a halfling? Or is he bound by his culture instead of his physical form?
Whatever the contract is, I think when he wakes up, you're going to need to be there for him, because he's probably going to freak out a little bit. Did any of you or your guards know him personally?
Well, I didn't really know them, and then the other guards, this one on the right, chimes in. It's like, yeah, we knew him. Yoris, his name, straight out of Mirabar. His wife is going to have some real questions.
He's going to have plenty more.
I hear it.
Make sure you're there for him.
They may be small in stature, but they're bigger in other places. Sorry.
It's,
Oh my God.
Eyebrow at Central.
it's true. We are bigger in heart.
Right. Well,
That is such an
Or
elodious.
so I've been told.
I
His
mean,
wife
I-
probably doesn't need to worry.
I don't know. He used to get flack off his wife most nights. He's a bit of a drinker. I wonder if that'll be different too.
If we ever do another campaign in Mirabar and these guys survive, I want to play that character.
The halfling.
Halfling reincarnated.
For sure. He's like, oh well, halflings are bigger than drinkers and dwarfs anyway, so we'll probably balance it out.
Okay. There's nothing weird's gonna happen. More weird's gonna happen, right? I've never really heard of anything like this happening before.
I'm sure it'll be fine. He'll probably just want to smoke a lot more, right? Looks at Bungo and I've never seen Bungo smoke a pipe though. And then she thinks back to Elodius. Her outdated
I think Bungo did.
sensibilities. Does he look like
There he
he
is.
looked?
No, it looks like this.
No, but does he bear similarity to who he used to be?
He used to look like this.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Um,
Honey, I'm home.
Honey, I'm home!
well, he'll still be him in his head. Actually,
Yep.
She kind of
Yeah.
like thinks. She's like, does that work? If you don't have a dwarf's brain, do you? She's like,
She'll
I'm not
find
getting.
out when he wakes up.
I'm not getting into eugenics.
Okay. So, like I said, it's still the middle of the day-ish. Is your plan to stick out here or continue on?
We can't make it to the next one though, can we? Right? In the
I
time we
mean,
have.
anything's possible. If you wanted to try and make it all the way to Turchak's Folly, you'd be in rough shape by the time you got there, most likely. Oh, and I will say,
Assuming-
because we're passing midday now, the weather is starting to shift,
Mm,
and you notice snow beginning to fall outside.
shit. Does Athelbert? Can Athelbert cast the really cool spell Conjure Animals? We can ride some shit out there.
You could ask him.
Just because I've noticed, just so Anya knows, he doesn't have a subclass.
Is he not?
No.
Typical.
Just says no subclass.
It's kind of funny,
in the
though.
thing. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
I don't like that.
Like, back in my day, we only had classes.
Playing 3.5.
Back in my day, fighters could make an extra attack against any minion of challenge rating half or less.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's up to you, Anya. If you want to keep no subclass, I don't mind.
I will choose one. I just don't know how to do it right now.
We will see.
I can do it for you if you want.
How close can we get
She's
to
quick
the next
running
place
quickly.
then?
So with the map,
he's also
which
not
I know
got any ability score improvements.
Atala, I did tell her to do though.
He's even funnier.
She always does that with her character. So Atala's studying the map properly, and I'm assuming Grey wouldn't be particularly precious about the map.
No, not to the main crew yet.
Yeah. So Atala kind of poring over it. You would see that, yeah. So like I said before, it's about 5 hours continuous travel time to Turchak's Folly. So I mean, technically, because it's about midday now, you could just set out and try and make it all the way with your tricks, but the same rules apply for exhaustion, and as I said, with the snow coming down and with the air getting thinner, things might get even tougher as you're traveling.
Mm-hmm. And this guy's not even awake if he's coming as well.
Yeah, and well, I mean, yeah, Varda and his and the guards have all slung their packs down on the ground, kind of around the sleeping halfling, and are settling themselves in.
Okay.
Sandra will definitely still be looking at this guy and being like, "So did he like halflings?"
Eurus wasn't how do I put it? Wasn't the sharpest pick in the mine shaft. He's gonna be. I'm really not sure he's gonna understand anything of what's happened to him.
Maybe what you should do is just, downplay it as much as possible. Like, he wakes back up and he's like, "What's happened to me?" And you're like, it's pretty normal. Maybe that's the best way to go.
You reckon?
Well, if
You were always like this. You've always been a halfling.
If all of you guys don't treat it like a big deal and make him feel like he did before, then he probably won't mind as much, right?
This one here pipes up. Well, he was a bit of a twat, so some of us, and he nudges the third one, are kind of looking forward to messing with him about it.
Well, don't mess about with him too much. Like, you said he was simple. That's not very fair.
Well, the way we see it, if he's got a simple brain, maybe it can't break that much.
Kind of, maybe, go easy on him for a few days, but then when he's got used to it a bit, you can tear him into him a bit more, like buds do, right?
So, anybody watching on is just seeing Sandral, this young, fresh-faced adventurer, talking to all three of these guys who are all like grizzled, veteran dwarf climbers. And they're like, yeah, just like buds do. You've taken quite an interest. Are you particularly fond of the shorter folk?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I just find it kind of interesting that he came back as a halfling. It's weird.
It's definitely weird.
I'm definitely not going to check down there, though, if that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, probably for the best.
You said he was married and everything.
He's married and she's not light-handed.
Well, do you think she'll, she gestures at him, do you think she'll accept him as he is?
These two are like shaking their heads without saying anything. And this one looks a bit more hopeful. It's like, well, she's got to kind of have to, doesn't she? Through thick and thin, tall and short.
I think even Sandrell's kind of half laughing.
Yeah, this one breaks a smile.
I'm just saying, maybe go easy on him for a day or two while he gets his bearings as looks down at the dwarves and him, an even smaller man than he was.
I mean, all his stuff's not gonna fit.
That's a good point. Wait, what's he wearing at the moment?
He looks like he's wearing his stuff, and you can see it's all kind of like too big for him and kind of caught up around him. There's a large backpack next to him.
She looks over at Bungo. Seeing as he's a stout one, he's a lightfoot one.
Mm.
Does it look like Bungo's clothes could fit this guy?
Certainly closer than the dwarven clothes, yeah.
Like, Bungo, this guy's not going to be able to get very far in this outfit. He might drag us back. Have you got anything more fitting for him?
Let me have a look. Yeah, I've got... Wait, am I wearing them? I'm wearing cold winter clothing, right? Like, this guy's gonna...
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have to wear the... Like, I assume he's got cold winter clothing on, even though it's too big for him.
Yeah, dwarven size.
I mean, I assume that will still work. It's just gonna make him a bit slower, probably, right? So
Yeah, and be uncomfortable, rub in places and such.
I don't really have anything. Sorry.
Bungo shrugs his shoulders.
I don't really want to give him my crimson robes.
You could use like rope or string or whatever to like tie down the loose bits.
Little rope belt.
Yeah, she she kind of gestured at these guys like, why didn't you fashion him up a little harness or something
Oh,
so he
wait.
can walk?
Tom, could I use mending to like shrink his clothes?
Interesting.
Because it repairs like a single break or tear, so surely you could like some tears and then repair it in a different way. It might take
That's what
a while.
I was thinking, yeah. And I think with Bungo's level of ability as a cleric, yeah, I'd definitely allow it.
Right, let's strip him.
What you wanted to do at the start. This one in the middle with the red beard speaks up. How do we know it's even him? All we've got is the crazy guy's word for it.
Guess you'll have to make up some sort of game to prove he's himself. That'd be kind of funny, wouldn't it?
True. Well,
It's simple. If any of you knew him well enough, you just ask him the right questions.
if I hadn't been brought back to life yesterday, I'd be feeling this whole differently.
She kind of looks at him. He's like, he looks just like he did the other day.
He does not. He was an ugly shit.
He kind of looks and like, is he not still an ugly shit?
Oh, he's all like, looks like a kid now.
Young and peppy.
How old was he in dwarf years?
5th decade, I think.
Yeah, you might have to break that to him as well. He's going to have a much shorter life than you guys. Well, you know, if we get off this mountain. And she kind of like
Right.
walks away. Got too deep into that conversation with them.
Yeah, they go back to muttering amongst themselves and kind of half arguing about what to do. Okay.
Arlo's sitting there looking at the map. So I think we're going to need to stay here tonight and just reset our timings, really. What say everyone else?
I think we should
I
go as
agree.
fast as possible.
What sort of time is it, Tom?
It's only about midday at the moment, cresting midday, pushing on towards 1 o'clock. Snow's beginning to fall a little heavier outside, but you're all under that overhang. Except Ethelbert, who as far as I know is still jumping up and down the stairs.
Just unless we go straight there now, without any breaks, or 1 or 2 breaks, or I don't think we're going to make it to the next resting point.
How far away is the next resting point?
Isn't it like 5 hours away? And then we need to take breaks as well, and then it's like midday already.
Yeah. So if you want to stick to your travel an hour, rest an hour to avoid gaining exhaustion levels, it's 10 hours of travel time.
Oh, Jesus.
But it is 5 hours normal travel time.
We can't long rest or anything, though. It's like we'd have to wait here a long time before we can long rest.
You would?
Yeah, that's true.
We'd be wasting a
Unless
lot of
Bungle,
travel
you've
time.
got your shape
I
stone.
do not, no.
I don't think
Oh,
it'll be
well,
big
I
enough
do
for everyone else here
actually. I do actually. But I
Okay.
can only do it 4 times because I've already cast a 5th level spell slot, apparently. I can't remember what I cast.
It's just there's quite a lot of us, and I don't know if we're all going to fit in
Oh,
that
aid,
space.
I think. I cast aid, yeah.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Could some of us go ahead and the rest catch up?
It sounds quite dangerous.
I don't think
We'll
that
find
seems
last
wise after the dragon.
Yeah, we're all alive now. And even that guy's back.
It's the little face.
Spent ages picking a fucking picture for that.
Let's
Unless-
ask Aethelbert. Maybe he knows a place nearby to where we want to travel to. He says he lives here.
Or maybe he has a method of creating a resting place, maybe?
Perhaps he
Combination with yours,
seems to,
Bungo?
he seems to have a way with the rocks.
Certainly a way with caves.
Aethelbert, are you there?
Aethelbert's in the loo.
Shit.
But actually, I don't know. I was gonna say I'm sure Aethelbert would tell you about his magical abilities, but now I'm just like, I'm not sure.
You did do transmute the rock, though, didn't you?
Yeah, he seems to be showing off quite happily. So yeah, I'll say straight away that you've seen abilities interacting with.
Surely he's gonna pick for subclass, by the way, Circle of the Land Mountain.
That's what I have suggested previously, but if I remember Anya looking at them, she was interested in.
I
She's
bet
kind of interested
Circle
in
of
the
Dreams, right?
I also thought Dreams was interesting. I think she expressed interest in Circle of the Moon,
Oh, really?
but we'll see.
The classic.
L classic.
Circle of the what?
Moon. Barrow mode.
Pharaoh one.
Oh. Oh, moon? Then she can just carry us all the way there. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, knowing Anya, it's not going to be optimized moon. It's not going to be
No.
like bears. It'll
Oh.
just be like, I can turn into a snow rabbit.
Turn into a giant elk. We can all get on our back. Easy peasy.
Potentially. Although not for the thin stretch of stairs.
Oh, no. But then she could just turn into a giant spider. That's all in a web.
That's true.
And then go.
Drag you up like a big bull sack behind her.
I wish I was a Mildred. I could think of all the ways to get up there.
Stupid warlock.
Damn it, Warlock. So useless.
Be nice to
What's the
my
plan?
work.
You're staying.
Well,
You say it's 10 hours anyway. We need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless. So better to just get some travel in now, I suppose.
yeah. Would Aethelbert know any place we can stop at along the way, Tom?
Yes. Aethelbert would. But I'm sure the conversation would take longer than I'm making it sound
Yeah.
with Aethelbert. But I think back and forth, you'd realise probably quite quickly that the places he's describing sound like places that he, like one person, could like cram themselves into and sleep. But they are, somewhat sheltered. It might be that you could take that place and expand it with your ability with stone and his ability with stone as well.
Yeah, I think we have to move. I don't see if it storms as well.
Yeah,
Tomorrow,
if it's 10 hours anyway.
Yeah.
We must
Slow
move,
it
I
down.
agree.
Blam says go, let's go.
Yep. Blam said go. He's the
Okay.
leader.
I'm
Okay.
gonna
Red Ranger.
cast my disc if you don't mind again, Blam.
Of course.
Sandra would walk over to Varda and she's like, you might want to wake your friend up, we're moving.
Okay.
She basically backs off and like she's gonna spy on them.
Barda kind of looks around to the other three. Well, does one of you want to do it? This guy steps forward, squats down, and kind of like shakes the guy's shoulder. Yoris, we gotta move. The guy starts stirring and eyes flutter open in the little cherubic halfling face. Like, I had a terrible dream. Why do I sound weird? It's like putting his hands out, trying to comfort him. This guy starts patting himself down. He's like, what? I'm tiny. Hops to his little halfling feet. All the clothes kind of like sink down around him. He's not naked, but like a little tent. What? I don't.
Sandra's gonna walk over and be like, Eurus, it's no big deal. Come on, we gotta get moving.
Blaz, sort of dazed in and out of consciousness a little bit, looks at you. You're so tall.
Yeah, I was before. You just got shorter.
But what happened?
Well, let's say you died. She kind of looks over at Bungo.
His eyes go wide. Oh god, the dragon.
But the gods have given you a new life. They just chose a different vessel for you. Hopefully one,
What?
yeah.
What? Did I do bad?
No, you're fine.
Why'd they make me smaller?
Well, you know, maybe they thought you'd do better in a little body. Have you ever thought about that?
No.
Well, you might do. Look, you're alive, aren't you? That's pretty good.
Why are those two laughing? He points
What?
over and these two guys are just like sniggering. and laughing.
Oh.
Andrew's gonna shoot him a glare.
Hey, roll an intimidation check. Just for the hell of it. I have seen you do, or at least one of them seen you do some crazy
shit.
stuff. They kind of give you a. The laughter settles down a bit, but they give you a big stupid grin. And little Yoris, you can see there's little tears in his eyes.
Oh.
I don't understand.
You're still a dwarf, Eurus. You're just in a different body now. You're just gonna have to adapt to it.
I'm not a dwarf. I'm like him.
You still think like a dwarf, don't you? You still like, She kind of looks around, drinking
Yeah.
and
digging.
Yeah.
climbing.
Sometimes.
Well, you know,
Digging more.
kind of looks at. Well, you know, you got a new body, and I know it's not exactly the same, but maybe you can ask her. And she like gestures over to Bungo. Maybe you can ask Bungo for tips. He's the one who brought you back, kind of.
Maybe. Mr. Thunderstone, am I still employed? Varda's like got this very contemptuous look on his face, looking down at little Yoris. Well, I mean, guards are kind of only as good as their stature and physical ability.
You saying Bungo didn't help back there, Varda?
Well, no, but Bungo has got power of a great god behind him, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he's got this new body now. He's just good at different stuff. Maybe you could be a scout, Eurus.
What's that?
You know, when you, like, look out for stuff.
Oh. Kind of starts looking around.
You know, she kind of, like, glares at Varda. She's like, I'm sure you're still employed, otherwise, well, you know, you might have to be less helpful to your employer if you're not.
Well, you know, someone did recently say that perhaps a different body means you're no longer bound by the same contract.
True. But, you know, we could just leave you here, Varda.
Kind of sputters a little bit at that.
If
and
you're
this
not
one,
taking... Maybe we should have you pay us, and then we can give that money to Eurus here. But no, we're escorting you for free. Isn't that right?
his eyes narrow. He sort of looks around the room. This guard steps up, puts his hand on Eurus's shoulder, and is like, if he's not employed anymore, then I quit. Barda holds his hands up. He's like, oh, all right, just, you know, thinking things through as a good businessman should. Of course you're still employed, Mr. Craghelm. We'll figure out how best you can fulfill your contract as you figure out the ropes of being a halfling. Eurus just kind of starts doing like little stretches and squats, feeling out his new body.
So, you know, Eurus, you've got one of the best halflings in the whole of Toril here, so I'm sure he'd be very handy if you need any tips on being a halfling.
Anything I should know? Looks at Bungo.
Well, what did you want? Did you have any questions?
Not really. I just kind. Shut up! I just kind of am a halfling, I guess.
This fucking voice.
Do we-
Every time I just think of the fucking, like, the guy from Monty Python and the Holy Grail is like, but father.
That
Um,
guy. Is there?
I just wanna
there special-
sing.
Are there special days, or
Well,
do I need to live in a kind of house?
I think you can just be yourself and do not. Let's focus on getting back to hopefully getting the rest of you to Rhinebreath Monastery, and then you can be seen back to Mirabar, where it's a bit safer.
Oh God, we're still going up this mountain. He just starts crying at that.
Andrew will be like, well, one thing, Eurus, you can probably drink your friends under the table now. Mate, halflings are amazing at drinking. So when we get back down the mountain, you can really show them what for, yeah?
Kind of sniffles, perks up at that. Well, that does sound good.
And I know you're from Mirabar, and I bought this as a souvenir, but you can have this. And she gives him the 10. Well, where the fuck do you get 10? Well, she gives him 10 times tipple.
Oh, nice. Yeah, little
Yeah.
flask. He takes
All
a
of it.
big swig. That's a bit better, thanks. Okay, I can do this. He starts like tightening the straps on his backpack and tightening his belt. These two kind of roll their eyes and just start walking forward with Varda, while this one helps him like tighten up his stuff and get sorted.
Oh my god, you need to make a Eurus stat block. Like,
Everyone's invested in Eurus now.
I'm fully invested in Eurus now.
I think, especially with how much you've been interacting as well, this other guard would tell you his name is Hokey Stoneback.
She would, she'd be like, don't worry, I'll keep an eye out for both of you. Not that you need it, you got this far.
We'd appreciate that, thank you. I'll, well, we'll be a good team, won't we, Eurus? Don't worry about those other idiots. Eurus kind of gives a little smile and a nod. Alright, let's go. So,
Yeah.
everyone's setting off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kieran is so fucking invested right now. Is Aethelbert going? Yep, Aethelbert's going. Oh, Atala was interested. I'm assuming Atala would ask.
Mm-mm.
Anya's emerged now.
I have emerged, yes.
General
what
interest in whether Aethelbert be willing to work with Bungo to help create like shelters in the stone and such.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could.
Yeah, is that what he says to them?
That's-
I have the abilities.
well,
I really need to.
that'll
not
be
do-
good. Are we,
No, I'm just thinking I need to not do this voice in the same room as Tom because it's so much better without the echo.
yeah, well, we're gonna need that, I think. Definitely combined effort.
Does it get you off of the mountain quicker?
Well, at the top of the mountain, I hope.
What's in it for me?
Well, I don't know. I guess you just get to leave this cave.
What if I don't want to?
Well, no one's forcing you. You can stay here.
I think it's what Lonnie would want me to do. Fine, I'll help you.
So, the ever more motley crew begin the next stage of your ascent. As mentioned previously, the air is starting to get a bit thinner. This is actually something that the smaller races aren't as troubled by, but you human folk are going to be treated as having one less constitution modifier
Oof.
than you do normally.
Man, carry me.
Why would it?
Bigger lungs, bigger oxygen requirement. I'm not sure the logic holds, but it's fun.
Yeah.
So, you head out into the snow. The snow's falling around you. It doesn't diminish your
Is it
traveling
much?
capabilities. And in fact, much to Sandral's joy, I'm sure, you swiftly realize that with this fresh snowfall, your tracks are all covered very swiftly as you travel along. You head out. You begin your journeying once more. Leaving the safety and shelter of the Stonewing overhang behind you. The next stage of the journey, assuming that you're not going towards the White Wing Bridge.
That makes sense. I'm just going
Nope,
straight.
you're trying to go as quickly as possible. Yep, it is just the Platinum Stair then, as you begin trudging once more. You're not yet at the part with the super thin, treacherous stairs. This is much as you've done already, though you would notice the frequency of names carved into the stones thinning out very quickly. It's only every 100 to 200 stairs now you see a little name scrawled onto the stones, people that have made it very far indeed before having to turn back quite painfully. What does become more frequent is the occasional evidence of dead bodies frozen in place as people's physical forms have just given up in such a horrific endurance test. Every now and
Before
then.
we get to the. Yeah.
No, yeah, every now and then you just see, like, you spot a frozen claw of a hand sticking out from a snowbank, or you spot a dark, huddled figure, and as you close in and cool out, you quickly realize they are just frozen solid.
Tom, would it be possible that Ethelbert would have like named them? So he'd be like,
And that one's David. High five, David. He smacked the hand of the
poking out of the snow.
Fuck yes, it would. That's amazing. Yep, so you see this quite eccentric behaviour from Ethelbert as he walks along, pointing out the names of the bodies and giving them high fives and other such greetings.
Was this guy like in I Am Legend? Is that what happened? Did he just get a bit lonely?
Not their real names, and he'd be like, "This guy loves a hug."
You don't know, you can draw your own conclusions as you watch this grizzled, wild-looking old dwarf hug this
Jesus.
frozen corpse with a eternal look of paranoid fear on its face.
No, I can out-hug you.
I think maybe we should keep an eye on him, Grey. Bungo's gonna whisper that to Grey.
It's a bit
Yeah.
rude.
We've dealt with.
He's a
crazy.
guy we met in the middle of a mountain who was nearly frozen to death and then is starting to hug corpses.
Oh,
Sorry if I'm not that trusting.
He's only a little bit worse than Elodius, let's be honest.
Yeah, but Elodius at least was like civilized. Somewhat.
Was he?
I think at some point during that first hour of ascent up the stairs, as Eurus is having to get used to the new length of his legs as he's kind of tumbling up the stairs a bit, he would actually put an extra bit of effort in to catch up to you, Ethelbert, and he'd say, "My friend tells me that you brought me back to life. Thank you."
I'm horrified by the idea that Tom will maybe turn to me in bed later on and be like, "I really love you."
Yes, you're welcome. It's a pleasure, boy.
I don't want to sound ungrateful, but
Then don't.
right, why am I a halfling now?
I'll be blown if I know, boy.
What did Ethelbert say?
I'll be blown if I know, boy.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you again.
Well, you just roll the dice and see what you end up with.
I've got a wife back in Mirabar. She'll be grateful too, I hope.
Well, like that young lady said, huge penises, halflings. She'll be very grateful.
Eurus's eyes go wide, and he looks down, pulls his baggy trousers out in front of him. Right.
You're welcome. And he'd like slap him on the back and just like stride off.
Thanks.
If Sandrell like was nearby, it's like he could have ended up as something, you know, a lot more different. Eurus, like on the scale of things, I guess a halfling's pretty close, like size-wise.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not an elf.
A bit tall, I suppose. But then you wouldn't have to sleep, so and you'd live for ages, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, it's just people. When people are being mean to each other, they use elf a lot.
Well, that's just a cultural holdback, but
You swing a pick like an elf.
you know, elves are master.
You dropped your oar, you elfy idiot.
You know, like that's your
Oh,
culture.
get a load of old
Eurus.
dagger ears here.
She kind of like, she's like, she pats him on the head and she's like, maybe don't say that around any elves, you know.
Right.
They're nice people, really. It's just, you know, people in Mirabar just don't talk to him much. They never really get to know them.
Have you met any elves?
Yeah, I have actually. My master, he taught me to fight. Well, one of them was an elf.
Oh.
Yeah, he's missing an arm, but that's not because he was an elf. That's because, well, that's because he was brave. He lost it.
Damn. So if I said you fight like an elf, actually a good thing.
Yeah. He defended his city when he was most needed, but You know, everyone does. She kind of looks away wistfully, and she's like, "Eurus, most people are similar, but maybe don't use the elf as a slur. Maybe pick something like bullywug instead."
Right. Being in a different body really opens your mind to different ideas.
Yeah, I guess it forces you to be more accepting. But you never know what one day anyone else here could end up in a different body. It's not just you. She kind of like,
Yeah.
If you ask him, maybe he'll turn you into an elf if you want to be one.
I'm happy being me for now. I can see why it's so difficult to lose that.
Yeah.
Looks down at him like, well, come on. And she like sort of strides ahead a little.
Yep. Keeps clambering up the stairs. The journey continues. The crags and such begin to get a little bit. It's less often that you're flanked on each side by large stone cliffs. As you're getting higher and higher up the mountain, you're more working on peaks, kind of jumping from peak to peak, getting ever higher. I'm assuming that you're doing the same routine of hour on, hour off,
Yeah, if that works.
unless told otherwise. Yeah. So takes you to 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Ethelbert would be like,
Come on, have your rest. Let's get going.
Would he try and stop them, or would he just be kind of poking and nudging?
no, he'd be like,
What do you need to rest for, idiots?
Ethelbert seems well at home in this mountain climate, and between bouts of the jump spell and just his own enthusiasm, you see, in the same way as Grey, you and Neverwinter, Bungo on the trail with your caravan, Blam on the sea, perhaps. He seems completely at home. His feet are steady and step in places that you would be too scared to step on. Rocks that look like they'd fall apart, he seems to know will hold his weight. And he seems in complete harmony with the mountain itself.
yeah, but Tommy's like 3 foot tall. Of course they will.
He's still pretty heavy. And dwarves are like 4.5? Dwarves aren't as short as half. Or gnomes,
Okay.
I think. But the day wears on and light is definitely dropping out as it's getting to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and you are well into the winter days now. Do you want to push on further, or rest now that night has fallen?
Is there somewhere nearby to rest? Like to nudge into the side of the mountain?
Yeah.
Ethelbert, no?
Yeah, there's different peaks and ridges, and you think certainly if you ask Ethelbert, and Ethelbert's willing to share, Ethelbert seems to have, every 10-20 minutes or so, he's pointing out a little nook or cranny that is a good resting spot that he's used before.
Mm-hmm. How long till we completely can't see?
If you try and travel another hour, it'll probably
No doubt.
cut out during that time. Getting very dim now already. Especially with the
And
sun.
how far away are we from the next one along?
The next
If we stop
proper
now?
resting stop, you're still 3 hours of travel, or 6 hours for you guys with your routine away.
Okay. Yeah, it just means we can make it for the next day. That's alright.
Yeah, you've cut 4 hours into it of your routine.
Yeah. I think we should stay here. Cut some mountain up.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
Like an idea to me.
Yeah, if it's getting dark.
Well, with your crew as it is, there's currently 11 of you.
Oof.
What's the plan to make a restable space for so many?
Well,
Is there a big ledge?
find
There's definitely ledges nearby, yeah.
We each have rope. We can tie a sleeping bag to the top with a kitten, and we can hang off. Yeah.
Love it. By all means, I'll get a set of rolls ready for you to make for that. I think, Ethelbert, you'd know there's like a little animal cave nearby.
Yeah,
only
for
big-
sure, but I mean,
It's only
they're
big
not.
enough for 2 or 3 people. And yeah, they haven't asked you. True.
Well, I think it's time for us to bed down. Bungo, have you still got your spells prepared?
I do, dear, yes.
Ethelbert, I know you got away with, she looks around and, rocks. I don't suppose you could make her help out?
I suppose so. Happen to know there's a shelter.
Well, perfect. I
Yeah.
don't
It's a little
suppose we can all
mountain goat cave
fit
used by
inside.
mountain goats.
Yeah.
As you get there, you can smell, Ethelbert, that there's probably still a mountain goat or 2 inside it at the moment.
Oh, you don't want to go in there. There's a mountain goat in there.
Sorry,
you
this
are.
is becoming-
You have turned Irish.
I got told to lean into it.
You
Oh, I
should
love
lean
it.
into it.
I'm really shit at Irish accents, but
That's
yeah.
good.
I've got
That's,
it.
I thought it was really good, to be honest.
I think his accent should just fluctuate constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It's a mountain accent.
I always find with like voices is that you don't find it straight away. You slowly uncover it, and then you're like, this is just the character.
Yeah.
Let's head to
Sorry.
the
We're
goat
making a little
cave.
cave.
No, we're going to
Yeah,
a
make
goat
it bigger.
cave.
Yeah, I mean you're at the mouth of the goat cave now.
Is it big enough to house all of us?
Probably big enough in its current state to house about half of you.
What time of
Snow-
day? What time of day is it?
It's dusk. You're getting
So
the
yeah,
last.
we need to rest.
best
So I will use a 5th level spell slot and 3 4th level spell slots to stone shape a little bit more of the cave out.
Okay.
Vandral would be like, Ethelbert, could we eat those goats?
Right. I need to get back into this voice that I was doing when I first suggested this to Tom.
I suppose they're edible, but it might be a bit difficult to catch them.
But you don't mind if I do catch them?
They're my children.
I better not then.
I'll
I
ask them.
suppose my children are edible.
Suppose they're edible, but you gotta catch them. Okay, we'll do that then. Oh, my children!
Oh, he's speaking. He's gonna speak with
Is
them.
it-
Okay.
Do you mind if this man eats you? No, do you mind if this man eats you?
That was it.
So you cast speak with animals. God, I'm dying. You can't speak with animals, and you say to the goats, "Do you mind if this man eats you?"
He's a very hungry boy.
Is that-
And Sandral's a girl.
She is also going to speak with animals.
Oh. Okay. There's two goats.
Can
The
we?
goats respond to Ethelbert saying, "Meh, yes, we might being eaten."
Yes,
San-
I thought so.
Sandral, you join in.
She's like, I'm a goat. I mean a
Sandra-
girl.
Sandral says, "I'm a goat."
I meant to say girl.
What the hell is going on?
Sort them out, Blair.
She kind of
George,
looks
I
at,
fear I may have lost my mind entirely.
kinda looks at Ethelbert, looks at the goats, looks at Ethelbert, looks at the goats, and
Yeah.
she says to the goats,
The goats
you,
look nervous, but intrigued that they're being spoken to.
you guys better get going, otherwise, well, we need to use this cave.
Well, yes,
Just
obviously.
One of the
Unless you-
goats starts to trot out, and the
Unless
other
you know
one's
anywhere
like,
better, of course, for all of us to stay. And she gestures to the rest of them.
"Ah, make a persuasion check."
Should
9.
threaten their lives.
Yeah. One of them just leaves without another word. The other one goes, "Bah, it's my cave." But seeing the lot of you as it starts to come towards the cave entrance, it just bolts off to the side.
Bye.
Bah, fuck you. Or whatever a goat would say that's very unhappy with the events. But Bungo, you use your stone shape.
Mm-hmm.
Ethelbert, do you help at all, or do you watch it happen, or?
Well, he's not very happy.
Doesn't
Do you
sound like he's
express
ever
your
happy.
displeasure?
I can't believe I'm letting you carve a hole into my favorite mountain.
Can we leave this guy here?
Absolutely not.
Let's bury him.
I will
Jesus,
say,
Nala.
I will say, Ethelbert, if you
In the
wanted to,
goat cave.
just for the cool factor, you could cast Meld into Stone and just walk into the stone wall
Yeah.
and
probably
sleep
do
in
that.
there if you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, after expressing his displeasure at the stone being carved away, Ethelbert just walks into one of the walls, into the stone that seems to just almost like turn into a liquid around him before forming immediately back into stone.
Ethelbert.
Mm.
Just broke my brain.
But with Bungo's work, it's a tight squeeze, but a better situation than one of the times before where you were literally piled on top of each other. There's at least enough sitting space now for you each to kind of have your own little spot. You
I don't
settle
know. I like the piling.
in. You notice that Yoris and Toki sit down together and are chatting away. Yoris like trying out some of his different tools and like unpacking and repacking his bag and getting used to the halfling hand size. The other two guards kind of sitting off with Varda and chatting and laughing to themselves. Is there anything anyone would like to do? Or do you want to fast forward to sleeping?
Bungo's
Make
as
him-
tired as I am, so no, he's probably just gonna sleep.
Sandra would do one thing. She'd
Mhm.
go over to Yoris and Toki.
Yep.
And she'd be like, "How's the new body treating you, Yoris?"
Good in some ways. Less of a... And he kind of like slaps his stomach, which is now actually quite taut and well muscled. Used to have a bit of a ale gut.
Oh, you know, it just means you can build it back up. Like, when she points over at Bungo, it's like, it's a big part of being a halfling. They say
Right.
they say the bigger you get, the more you're respected in their holds. Well, like Amphail.
Think I should be somewhere with other halflings?
No. Come looks at Toki and she's like, I'm sure you know Mirabar better than anywhere else, I imagine.
Yeah.
You're a in she points at her head, and here you're still a dwarf. But, you know, I assume you take on contracts and things like that. Maybe exploring the world could be an interesting idea. And she kind of looks at Toki.
Loki kind of gives her like a, yeah, shrug of the shoulders kind of look. If you wanted to see more of the world, Yoris, I wouldn't be against it. Nothing really tying me to Mirabar. Yoris is like, well, I mean, I guess we'll see what the wife thinks.
Yeah, and there's better ale down south anyway.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Mirabar.
And you just hear Ethelbert from inside the stone. Damn straight!
Muffled voice from in the stone wall. Yoris is like, oh!
You know, I don't really know how it works with taste and everything, but halflings are meant to be great cooks, and maybe you'll find some new cuisine that you really like. Who knows? Did the 10 Towns tipple taste any different?
Tasted great. I hadn't had it much before shifting, changing.
Oh, see, you're discovering new things already.
Yeah. Thanks for looking out for me.
It's no problem. Like, well, I guess we're both the youngest here now, technically.
Yes. Don't even know how old this body is. I guess a day old.
Kind of looks at it. It's like, we've got beards, so a dwarf. Just kind of looks at Tokyo. A dwarf born with beards.
Toki smirks. Sometimes.
Does it mean anything in your culture?
Yeah. Seen as a good sign. Healthy baby.
Does the volume of the beards, is that important in Mirabar?
Not really. You're thinking more of the mountain hold dwarfs. There's a lot more of a length of beard, bigger power kind of thing up there. Here it seemed more as an impracticality, you know, working around smelting equipment and such, or even down the mines. It's seen more as, I guess, an upper crust kind of indulgence, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a long beard, you're probably not a hard-working dwarf. You're probably sitting around, stroking it and braiding it with gold and beads and whatever.
I guess that's like human nobles who have very pallid white skin, because they're not working in the fields.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. She's like, well, sleep well, you two.
And you, what's your name? Sorry.
Sandrao Quinzel.
Pleasure.
Yeah, should give them both a warm little smile and then sit back down. Like, go over
Yeah.
to a nook and just like crawl into a ball. Like, I want to go. They're chasing us.
Yep. Anything else from anybody else? And are you setting up watches for the night?
I'll watch.
Thanks. But yeah, watches.
Grey watch.
Sandra will.
Joe watch. And Atala?
Yeah, I should do the last one.
As night draws in and you find yourselves asleep, if it wasn't for your sheer exhaustion from all these steps each day, you know that sleeping on this hard rock would be difficult in the cold. But as it stands, you are completely exhausted once more, and sleep finds many of you swiftly. Particularly, you notice that the guards, all 4 of them, even little Yoris, with perhaps a troubled mind, all fall asleep very quickly. It seems like they're used to this kind of thing, and you hear a steady sound, a strange sound of a rock wall snoring next to you. As Ethelbert has happily fallen asleep. Gray, with you taking first watch, could you do a perception check for me, please?
Yes, sir. Oof.
Holy shit. Okay. Okay. So, as you sit in the mouth of the cave, you look out and all the different thoughts flow through your mind, how you think the journey's going so far, and feeling that increased connection to Celestian. Being this high up in the mountain now, and being of a taller form, You kind of almost have a constant slight lightheadedness to your day. It's not yet very unpleasant, but as you kind of sit and have more time to contemplate, and you're not sucking great mouthfuls of air into your lungs to puff up the steps, you do kind of fall into almost a trance-like state. As this happens, your vision kind of naturally falls over the horizon, and you see these different stars twinkling. Think once more on your connection with Celestian. And as the stars twinkle, it becomes like a pattern. One star seems to shine slightly brighter. Another one to the left of it does so. And you follow this steady, cascading, twinkling shape of the stars. And as it loops back and kind of repeats itself, you notice the shape of the stars as it goes round again and again, until kind of finally finishing with a flourish of all the stars twinkling at once. And you can't help but see the image drawn in the night sky, which is of a great serpent, coiled and coiled around inwards till there is a great biting mouth at the center, and a feeling not overwhelming. Your blood doesn't rush or anything, but deep in the pit of your stomach, there's a little feeling of dread, a worry, an apprehension, and you feel how you feel, but perhaps disturbed by seemingly this sign from Celestian and the night skies above. Feels like a warning.
I was gonna say, heads up.
Indeed. But apart from that,
Bad omen for sure.
apart from that, your watch ends without issue. It's very cold and still out there. The snow now has stopped entirely. It's a completely clear sky, dark and still, freezing. As you go to wake Sandrell for her watch.
Yes.
Sandrell, could you do your perception check for me, please?
There she can.
Sandra!
Oh, she'd get the first thing she'd do,
Mhm.
when everyone's gone to sleep a little bit,
Mhm.
she'd get the white dragon cloak out,
Mhm.
and she's just thinking of like, oh, being chased. Poor Eurus doesn't want to be implicated in this bullshit. She's gonna shove a pitten through it and just lob it off the mountain.
Okay. Interesting.
Tala sees you do that.
Yeah.
Not gonna say
Yeah.
anything though.
Nah, she wouldn't be being too wary of it because everyone saw her take it anyway.
Do a quick strength check. please.
Okay. Oh god.
Hey.
With your newfound mothering feelings towards urine in full flow, you get a little rush of adrenaline, and using the piton, which is a very smart idea, you throw the cape far out away from the ledges below, and you watch it flutter in the air as it is dragged down by the weight and disappears from view as it falls far, far, far down the mountainside.
From somewhere in the background, you'd hear,
No littering!
See a sneaky little pair of dwarven eyes on the edge of the rock. Perception 18. Okay. Yeah, after that you take up a spot to watch from, and you look out into the very dead of night now for this middle watch period. With an 18, yeah, with an 18 you do spot some movement. Further up the stairs, you see what looks to be a very large, dark shape shifting in the night, Looks to be a very large humanoid. You can't pick out details, but you
She
can
would
make what assumptions you want. Yeah.
she'd go over to Gray and she'd try and find his spyglass while he's asleep.
Go for it. How light? Do a sleight of hand check. And Gray, can you tell me how light you think Gray sleeps? Because I'm imagining pretty light.
Pretty much. He's got a pretty high passive perception, so take that as you will.
Faster perception of.
19.
Oh. And where is the spyglass kept? Do you imagine?
I don't know. I wonder, like, how much can you fit on a belt? I'd like to think it would be in like a little holstery bit, but
Yeah, like a little leather holster on the belt.
yeah.
With matching 19s, I'll say, Sandral, you managed to get the spyglass out, but as you step away, it's more the movement of your body which does flutter your eyes awake, Gray, and you can see that she's heading off with the spyglass.
Yeah, he'll call out as that kind of, he doesn't want to wake everyone, so he's not shouting, but he's making sure she hears. Just bring it back, girl.
I just didn't want to wake you up, Gray. There's something out there, it's a hulking figure. Just wanted to see what it was, and if it wasn't anything big. And
At which point he's like, what? You got my interest now.
yeah, she'd go
So
back.
might as well come and join her.
Yep. And between the two of you, you take turns with the spyglass, and you do see. Now you notice it's multiple very large figures. They are not heading towards you. They are not taking the stairs. You think probably the stairs aren't a viable really way to travel for these big figures. It's more like a slope for them. But they are heading seemingly by climbing and clambering up the side of the mountain. That would be kind of an impossible climb for creatures of a usual stature. With the spyglass, you're able to pick out more details. It is
Sandra also be thinking about the giants that those guys mentioned earlier.
and it is a clear night, and seemingly with Gray coming to the fore, the stars seem to beam even lighter. And you notice a blue skin tone. You notice lots of tribal decorations. Large bones and jaws of animals affixed to various areas of clothing and tied into long braided beards and thick white hair that spills wildly down the back of their shoulders. You can do a nature or history check for me, if you like.
Sandra
Both of you.
would remember Elodius telling her about stone giants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, they might be frost giants, eh?
Yeah, you would think from his description these aren't stone giants because they're very hairy. Yeah, Gray, you're not sure. Sandral?
Oh.
Yeah, I'd say especially with this reading, having read about this climate, knowing you're coming north, these do seem to tick quite a few boxes for frost giants, which you know to be very dangerous. Powerful giants with a tribal culture, often led by the strongest of their kind. They are ruthless, tyrannical, often very territorial. They were the 14. That's probably about it. You know, they're highly resistant to cold. Very, very strong.
How plausible is it that they could have killed a dragon?
Yeah.
The dragon that you killed,
Mm-hmm.
a group of them, a whole tribe of them working together, definitely. Whether that's likely a dragon would get itself into that situation is another question.
Probably not.
Potentially a story that could be woven. Not hugely likely, but not impossible.
And you said they were at the top of the steps climbing away from us?
Well, the steps don't stop within your vision. The steps kind of bend around a curve around the side of the mountain. But yeah, they seem to just ignore the stairs entirely. and are just handhold clambering up the side of the mountain. You sit and watch them, or stand and watch them for a short time, and there seems to be a total of 4 of them moving. And they clamber up onto a ledge and begin to disappear from view.
Ray would just not make a sound throughout the whole time and just suggest Sandral keeps an eye out in that direction and suggests whoever's shift is next do the same.
Sandra would ask Grey. She'd be like, Grey, there hasn't been much talk about it since it happened. But what do we do if we get to the Rhinebreath Monastery and they know that we killed that dragon? I know what Elodius would do, but I'm not sure if that's the best idea.
Well, first and foremost, let's hope it doesn't come to that, but
They will,
should it?
If... Yeah. She nods. Waiting for Grey's answer.
Yeah.
So thinker.
We'll tell them what we need to find Jorik.
Well, just looking at those frost giants, I know Elodius might try and spin a story that we saw them kill them. Do we just own up to it if they ask us directly? Or maybe we just accept exile and try and find Jorik another way?
I doubt the giant story will stick. If that was the case, I'm sure they'd have stories of giants fighting dragons, and I'm pretty sure I didn't heard anything about that. We'll own up to it if we have to.
Would Bungo be able to
And-
overhear this conversation?
She was trying to do it so she'd just asked some Grey, so I imagine she would have tried to
That's
half
fine.
establish people look to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'd say if you're all fast asleep, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine them speaking quietly.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you have some idea what to do. I was worrying it on my own. I just wanted to share it with someone.
It really depends. Depends who's asking. Depends where we are.
I'll let
If it comes to it, leave it to me.
I'll let you and Bungo handle it. I won't say anything. I got rid of that cloak I took.
Smart idea.
Kind of looks at her clothes and Grey's clothes. She's like, there's a little bit of blood there. I'm going to bed. Well, no, wait. You better go back to bed. Can I keep the spyglass until I finish?
I'll have it back in the morning and pass it on to whoever's got the next shift.
Okay. Thanks, Grey.
Yeah.
I'll try and get back to sleep.
The rest of your watch passes, you do not see the figures again.
Right. Oh, fuck.